So when you think about what is your purpose, what is the answer you get? Please write in the chat box if you feel like. And there are many children who don't switch on their camera, no interaction, nothing. I don't know what kind of students you are. Did you do this in school also? Is this the way you become a student? How will you become a godly student like this? You can't even become an ordinary student like this. Yes, godly student is a very big thing, you know. At least we should have this much of sensibility how to sit in the class. And I don't want to repeat this all the time because I don't like repeating things a lot. But at least, so we should know what is our aim and we should understand what we are doing, and with this kind of a conduct, how will we become deities? Deities don't put veils, do you know? Deities, so these days you see that in the Kali Yugi scene, what happens is even the queen and the king, not the king actually, but the queen will put a veil and sit even in the Raj Darbar, in the court. But in Satyug, no, Lakshmi doesn't put a veil, Sri Narayan doesn't put a veil. So how will you become Lakshmi Narayan without even revealing your face? Okay, so you have to look at these things. And okay, so then there are some answers. So your aim is to be very peaceful. And what else? Anybody else who thought about their aim and would like to share what is your aim? So somebody is writing to be peaceful. Somebody, my purpose is to gather knowledge and give it to others. Okay, what else? So just gather knowledge and give it to others or imbibe also to help others. Okay, what else? What else is the aim? So you see, we have to have clarity about the aim. So just like Baba teaches us everything else, you see, what doesn't Baba teach us? Baba teaches us how to sit, how to talk, how to eat, what to eat, when to sleep, when to get up, how to think. And similarly, so Baba is filling us with knowledge, and knowledge about what should be, so the right way of doing things. And Baba tells us that my aim is to become Lakshmi Narayan. Do you know why we are here? So just like Baba gives knowledge about everything else, Baba also gives us knowledge about our aim. And my aim as a godly student is to become Lakshmi Narayan. Baba says that when people go to satsangs in the world, they don't have an aim. They just go there and they listen to something and they come back. But Baba says this is a satsang, but it's also a class. It's a school, it's a university. And when you go to school, college, university, you have an aim, right? You go to medical school, you want to become a doctor. You go to engineering college, you want to become an engineer. So we are coming here with an aim. And the aim is to change from human to deity. The aim is to change from an ordinary human to a deity like Sri Lakshmi Narayan. That is our aim. And Baba says that first thing we have to be clear about our aim. Okay, so our purpose is not just to be peaceful, not just to gather knowledge and give to others, because gather knowledge and give to others, Google is doing it. So we don't need to do that. We are here for ourselves first. Seva is a byproduct. So, seva is not our aim. Seva is a byproduct. So, when you change, when you transform, you inspire others. And if you don't transform yourself, you don't transform your qualities, and then even if you give knowledge to somebody, they will take the knowledge, but they will see that that knowledge is not part of your personality. And then they will not listen to you. So one has to understand that, seva is done through thought, word and act together. And for that, first, my thought, word and act has to be in harmony. So if I have to speak knowledge, first I have to ensure that my actions are knowledgeful, my thoughts are knowledgeful. In English there is a very beautiful saying. They say that a father tells the son, do as I say, but the son does as he does, not as he says. So we always copy actions, not words. And so our purpose is to become, this is a path of doing and becoming. This is not any other path. We are not talking about temporary peace. We are not talking about, just sharing knowledge. We are talking about first doing and becoming. Then helping others, yes, but first helping myself. Yes, so we are here to, so do we understand that I am in dire need of help right now and Baba is helping me, but then I have to take that help and help myself. Yes, and in today's Murli, Baba uses a very good expression. The expression is, on this path, if you ascend, then you taste the taste of heaven. And if you descend, then you are destroyed. Yes, so basically destroyed means what? We were in hell, right? So we would become that same vicious person. So in Hindi it is called Chadhe to Chakhe Baikunt Ras or Gire to Chaknachur. So if you ascend on this path, then you taste the sweetness of heaven, and if you descend, then nothing. You just go back to where you were, or even worse, because every day the world is depleting and degrading, and we have to understand that we are here to ascend. And there is a very beautiful saying that there is a very beautiful saying that if you do what you have always done, you will get what you have always got. Yes, so now the problem with the whole world is everybody wants to get better, but they don't want to do better. So we want to do the same thing and get something else. Yes, but that is not possible. If you do what you have always done, you will get what you have always got. So knowledge So we have to understand three things today. Knowledge is about what to do, okay? And destiny is about what we do. So knowledge is primary because it tells you what to do. Because without knowledge, we don't know where to bring about the change. So and knowledge is only given by Shiv Baba. When Shiv Baba comes in Sangam Yuga, he specifically tells us what to do, what changes to bring. Whether it is with regard to my thought, my attitude, my action, my actions of the mouth, the body, anything, what to eat, how to think, everything Baba will tell you. But we have to incorporate those actions in our daily life. And when we get knowledge, we understand what to do. And then when we do it, we change our destiny. So first change that we have to bring on this path is attend daily Murli and class. Listening to what Baba is trying to tell me, because you see, in the beginning it takes at least 10 years to understand what Baba is trying to tell you. Sometimes you think Baba is trying to tell you this, and then after a few years you realize, no, I understood it differently. Now Baba is trying to tell this maybe. So at least, it takes a long time to understand what Baba is trying to tell you. So because you see, Baba is on a different plane. He is a different consciousness, and we are very body conscious. And when we are very body conscious, so understanding what he is speaking from that consciousness takes a lot of time. But that is why we give this manthan also, so that it becomes a little easy. But then still it takes time. So first is daily class, daily Murli. You have to read the whole Murli, and then some bits of it we explain in the class so that you get some perspective. Then second thing that on this path is practicing the practices that Baba gives us. Yes. So there are practices that Baba suggests, and this is a godly school, like I told you, and we are godly students. And as godly students, you see, in the world, when there are students, they go to school for 8 hours and they have homework for 1 hour. Yes, but here you have 1 hour of class and a whole day of homework. So class is important, you have to attend that, but you also have to do the homework. And then when you read the whole Murli, then you get an idea about what practices that Baba is asking us to do. So from today's Murli, let us understand what is it that Baba is asking me to practice. So the first thing Baba says is practice being bodiless. Yes, practice being bodiless. So now and again, just forget the body and the old world and just sit in your bodiless state. I am just a soul, just a being of light. Yes, and in that state of being just a point of light, you can only see Baba, because I am a soul and my Baba is mine. So as a soul, all your relationships, all your attainments are with Baba. And you see, this is the truth, but we have to practice it. And do you know that there is no substitute for practice? Yes, there is no substitute for practice. You see so many people who are artists in the world. Some are playing music, some are singing, some are dancing, some are playing cricket, some are playing something else. So, every person, somebody is painting, somebody is doing something else. With so much advancement of technology, nobody has ever come up with a substitute for practice. Yes, everybody has to practice. Yes, even the best, best sports person, best artist, best teacher, they all have to practice. And Baba says, there is no substitute for practice. Every day you have to devote time to practicing bodilessness. Just sit in the awareness that I am just a soul, and in your qualities as a soul, what are you? You're pure and peaceful. That's it. No thoughts about this old world. Your mind is full of peace and purity. And then you draw light from Baba, draw might from Baba, sit in Baba's remembrance, feel his love, feel his presence around you. So this is a practice that you have to do. And do you know that there is a saying that if something cannot find a place in your day, it cannot find a place in your life. Yes, so if you want to change your life, you have to change your timetable. Okay, and if you want to progress on spiritually, first change you have to bring is get up early in the morning. Because if you don't get up early in the morning, the foundation for yoga or remembrance of Baba or practice of bodilessness is not laid. And without a foundation, you cannot practice all through the day. So if you get up at Amrit Vela and practice, then all through the day also, in bits and pieces, you will be able to come back to that practice of bodilessness. But if you are not using that time, which is, which is the right time to practice, then all through the day you might try, but you won't get the result. Yes, so you have to make this change. If you don't make the change, then no change happens in life. So first is knowing what to change through the Murli, through Manthan, and then bringing about that change. Then second practice that, so this is practice. Then Baba also talks about lifestyle changes. Yes, so if you don't change your lifestyle, so lifestyle is action, right? So lifestyle is the actions you perform, and the actions that you perform, they have to change, because if the food that you eat is still impure, yes, so you see the law says, as is the food, so is the mind. So you're trying to remember Baba with the mind, but then the food is having an impact on the mind. So how can you have a mind that is not wandering here and there, and a mind that is peaceful and remembers Baba, if you eat food which has the vibration of, chaos and peacelessness? So do you understand that food is like vibration packaged in a packet, and then you eat it and that vibration becomes your vibration. It is as profound as that. And Baba says we need to bring purity into our lifestyle. Purity of food, purity of actions, celibacy. Celibacy is a very big part of purity, because if I am not practicing celibacy, then I am engaging in lust. And then what is lust? Lust is the highest form of body conscious engagement. Yes, so when there is a lustful engagement, the only consciousness is this body and that body, nothing else. You can never think about the soul. So if that kind of body conscious engagement is there, then how will you become bodiless? Not possible. You sit in meditation, you only see bodies then. Your body, their body, this body, that body. So it's a big, it's a big cemetery there. So all the corpses you see, no souls. So that is how, so we need lifestyle changes. And you see, you cannot change from a human to a deity without any change. Do you think like that? Yes, I remember, when I was in school, I was reading a story, and in that story, there was one person who came to God, and then he said, will you give me whatever I want? So God said, why not? But you have to do what I say. So then he said, okay, but I hope that doesn't mean I have to bring about a lot of change in me. Then God said, you must be really foolish to think that you will not bring any change and then you will get everything from me. Because you see, we are where we are because of what we do. And if we keep doing the same things, how will we change? So there is another very beautiful law which says, no problem is ever solved with the same consciousness with which it is created. Yes, and that is why the first thing Baba tells us is to practice how to shift the consciousness. So when we practice being bodiless and remembering Baba, that is the step to change your consciousness. So if you don't change who you are, how do you change what you do? That's not possible. Because you do as you are. So the first thing is changing who you are, and that sense of self. For that sense of self to change, that change happens when you practice that I am a soul, and whatever you believed or whoever you believed you are until now has to collapse. And then you are a soul, you are a child of God, you are the child of the Almighty and Ocean Himself. That has to sink in so deep that all that you believed that you are, which is weak and unworthy, will fade away. So Baba says that this is why first thing you have to practice, because this practice of remembrance of Baba or soul consciousness or bodilessness, these practices are what lay the foundation for change, because consciousness and action are related. Yes, and I will tell you one incident. I was attending a meeting on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and it was being conducted in the office, and then the secretary who was presiding over the meeting, after the whole meeting, he just ate the banana and threw the banana skin there itself. And then everybody thought that, this is not in the spirit of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, he should pick it up and throw it in the dustbin. But then nobody had the courage to tell that to him. And then after some time, he felt, that everybody is looking at him. So he said, he called his peon and then he said, pick it up and throw it in the dustbin. So you see, you cannot change your actions with the same consciousness. You think you are the boss, you're privileged. It's not your duty to clean. Then how will you clean? So it's who you are that decides what you do. And until that changes, you cannot change what you do. So I have to practice enough that I am an eternal, peaceful, pure, blissful, loveful being of light. I am the child of the Almighty. I am the child of the Supreme One. So you have to practice so much that your sense of self, of who you are, what you are capable of, what are your virtues, what are your powers, all that shifts. So this is the first thing that we need to incorporate. And then lifestyle is very important, because the practice of soul consciousness and remembrance is like filling the bucket. And then having an impure lifestyle is like that bucket has a small hole in the, underneath. And you're filling the bucket and the whole water is passing through that hole. So you may meditate a lot, you may take a lot of power from Baba, but then you eat food, you engage in, lustful action, and all of that power goes away. And then you are as depleted as ever. So that is why Baba says purity is important, and purity not just celibacy and food, but then purity of thought, purity of attitude. If you don't keep your mind pure, you're not engaging in lust, you're not eating impure food, but you're just overthinking. Your mind is full of criticism for everybody you see. Then what happens? Those thoughts also sap your energy. And then what happens is you're filling yourself, but then it's all going away. You're losing it as well. So Baba says this is what you need to do. And then Baba talks about, in today's Murli, Baba talks about training your eyes to be civil. In the deity world, we are called civilized. And it's a very interesting word, because civilized is written as differently, but then if you break it, it becomes civil eyes is equal to civilized. And what is the opposite of civil eyes? Criminal eyes. Yes, so Baba says train your eyes to be civil. So when your eyes see the body, they are criminal. Because when they see the body, then thoughts of lust appear in your mind. And when you see the soul, so Baba asks us to see the soul. So Baba says, in between the eyes, there is the briquity, and then there is the soul there. So you make proper eye contact with somebody, but you're looking at the briquity, not the eyes. And nobody can figure out whether you're looking here or here. And so you practice that you keep seeing the soul and keep that in your awareness, that I'm talking to the soul, engaging with the soul. And when you practice this enough, then you train yourself to see the soul and not the body. And that is civilized. And do you know that in every spiritual practice, training the eyes is a very big part of the practice. So when you look at sannyas dharam, the sannyasis, they will never look at anybody's face, especially usually the sannyasis are men, so they will not look at the woman's face. They will look down and talk. So that's a practice, because when you look at the body, then knowingly, unknowingly, thoughts of lust get triggered. And Baba says that if I want to be pure, then I have to. And you see, in the world, in the new world, in heaven, in Satyug, the deities will not look down, or they will not close their eyes, but they will have soul conscious vision. So I told you there will be no veils. There will be, there will be. And why do you think these customs and traditions of veils came in, or parda? Or in every religion you see these kind of customs are there. In India you have the ghungat, and then in Islam you have the parda. So all of these customs, why did they come up? Because of the criminal eye. And from the copper age there is the criminal eye. And then Shiv Baba says, in Satyug there is no criminal eye. So Shri Lakshmi will not wear a veil and sit. She will sit in the Raj Darbar with Shri Narayan, just like Shri Narayan sits. And she will not need to hide her face or anything. And in order to go there, we have to create a world, a culture where everybody looks at the face but no criminal drishti. And that happens when you train your eyes to see the soul with open eyes. So your eyes are open, but you don't see the body, you see the soul, you keep that in your awareness and talk to each other. And you don't have to not avoid eye contact or anything. Baba says, if you look at the eyes or you look in the middle of the eye, it's the same thing. Nobody ever figures out. So these are the changes that Baba asks us to bring about. So Baba asks us to practice not only the practices in the mind, or bodilessness, remembrance of Baba, acts of the mind, but also physical acts and lifestyle changes Baba asks us to do. And then Baba also tells us that do seva. Because if you don't do any seva, if you don't lend your hand of cooperation in this task of Baba, then what are you doing? You are just taking and not giving back to Baba also. Then how will you become a deity? If you don't give back to the one who gives you, how will you give to others? Those who don't give you, you will never give to them, because you're not even giving back to the one who gives you everything. So Baba says, these are the methods through which you become a deity. And when we incorporate these things, when we practice, then we change from thorns to flowers. You cannot change from thorns to flowers just like that. These days, everybody is like a thorn, You meet somebody, you prick them, and then you leave them hurt. Yes? Anybody meeting anybody, when they go away, they don't take happiness with them. When people meet each other, they leave each other hurt. So that is the quality of a thorn. But if you enter a beautiful garden, you leave with very beautiful memories of flowers and sweet smell and everything. So Baba says, you will become like flowers, which everybody will, when they meet and leave you, they will be very happy. And in order to become that, you have to bring changes in your lifestyle, in your practices and everything. So this is 1 hour of class, but whole day of homework. So you have to pay attention to the homework also. And then homework needs to be submitted. So how do you submit the homework? You write a chart. So before going to sleep, you submit your chart. You write how many hours of meditation I had, how many hours of practice of bodilessness I had, or how many minutes I had, or whether I ate pure food cooked in the remembrance of Baba, offered bhog or not, or whether I did something, spoke something with the mouth that caused sorrow, or whether I went into impure actions of lust. So you submit all of that. Whether you did what you shouldn't do, or you and whether you did what you should do, or both these things, credit and debit. If you do what you shouldn't do, it's a debit. And if you do what you should do, that's a credit. So both these things have to be submitted at the end of the day. And only then we progress, and then we reach our aim. And our aim is to transform from an ordinary human being to Lakshmi Narayan. Okay. And then second thing, I will tell you one thing. When I completed the course, so my Didi called me and then she asked me, why are you coming here? So I couldn't answer that, just like many of you didn't write answers. Maybe we are in the same condition. So then I just kept quiet, and then she said, this is a factory to change humans into deities. And if you're not interested in that, then there is no place for you here. So then I said, okay. So she said, this is the place which changes you from human to deities. So if you have that aim, then keep coming. So then I said, okay. And then from that day I held to it, that I don't come for any limited aim. I come for this aim. Okay. So बाबा से योग कब लगेगा? योग first thing is you sit in meditation early in the morning. If you sit in Amrit Vela, and first thing about yoga is practice bodilessness. If you're remembering the body and the physical world, you cannot have yoga with Baba. So do you remember the definition of yoga? Forget your body, bodily religion and bodily relations. Come to the awareness of the soul and remember me. That is the method to have yoga. Okay. Om Shanti.